Hey guys, YipperX5 here. I wanted to talk to you guys about Augmenters here in Star Sonata 2. Now, I I guess I should have talked to you guys a little bit more about that in the previous video, but you know what? Hey, it's a learning process, so I might as well, throw this up here really quick for you. So, where do I start? Okay, I got an idea here. Basically, the best way to describe an Augmenter is it's like this permanent stat upgrade that you put on your ship. And you can change it out with a different one if you find better ones later on, but you have to destroy them or remove them through a mission. But I would recommend that you don't waste your mission on just anything. You should go and waste, like, not really waste, but use it on your higher tech ships as you get further in the game. So how do you acquire an augmenter, you might want to know? Actually, before we even get into that, let's talk about how you know how many, or how you know, or how you can determine what augmenters your ship can use. Like, how many can it use? What type can it use? Essentially, a ship can use, theoretically, any augmenter of its tech level or lower. And what I mean by theoretically is, theoretically any augmenter, because not every tech level has every type of augmenter. For the most part, you have your minor, basic, standard, good, EXE, and sup, which are the different tiers of standard augmenters, which basically give you your standard stats. Shields, energy, speed, turning, thrust, you know, all the different various stats for your ship, all the way down to like increasing its hull space, to lightening it up, to like to where you're not so heavy when you're trying to turn, which in theory increases your effectiveness of your thrust and your turning. And then you can get your other stats, which can just straight increase your resistances to damage, which that's pretty cool too. Now, how do you determine how many augmenter slots your ship will have? Well, let's go ahead and go over here, and we're going to dock at this base, and we're going to talk about augmenters and how you figure out what or how many you can have on your ship. Currently, the ship I'm in the Selena Logica has 4. I can't show you that because I don't have one that's in item form, but we're going to go ahead and go to trade, and then we're going to go over here to the ship section or hull section or whatever, and we're going to pick the Zebu card. Now, what we're going to look for in this whole list of stats is we're going to look for a feature, or look for a stat called Augmenter. And so you see this one, it says Augmenters, so we're going to go down to the next line. Look, there it is, 3 Augmenters. So this one can have 3 Augmenters on it. And since it's Tech 0, it can use up to Tech 0 Augmenters, which is basically just Tech 0 Augmenters, and that's it. Now, how you get Augmenters, or since the tech level is equivalent to the ship, then that means you don't need a special skill in order to use them. What you actually need is piloting, because it'd be really weird to put or say or have a skill in the game for for equipping an augmenter. Well, maybe not so weird. It would be kind of cool. I know it would. It would be absolutely terrible and people would hate it. Anyway, so how do you get augmenters? Well, typically you'll blow something up and it'll drop something for you, which kind of looks like. Let me see if I have any on my ship to show you. No, I don't have any. Of course not. Okay, I know what I can do here. AI bases actually come standard with a free augmenter. Well, not even free. It's like a removable augmenter, and it's the only one in the game that you can put on and take off. And it actually gives you 30% energy, and it's Tech 0. So I'm going to buy one, and we're going to quit opening up random stuff. Go away! And we're going to go over here, and I'm going to throw an augmenter down, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. I'm going to drag it out of our ship, and boom. See? That right there is what an augmenter looks like when it's floating around in space being helpless and useless. I'm going to shoot at it, and I'll show you guys. You can't target it or hit it with anything, but I can, however, grab it with my tractor beam and push it away from me, or I can pull it in and scoop it up. And then that's that. So, essentially, that's how you get augmenters. You get them from either building them or scooping them up as loot. So let's talk about how you would want to go about putting augmenters on your ship. Well, to put an augmenter on your ship, it's the same as anything else. You just double click on it. But since I have max augmenters on this ship, I can't do that. So I'm just going to toss this overboard because I don't need it anymore. And let some random AI have it. Goodbye. So anyway, let's talk about how you would choose the right augmenters for your ship. That all comes down to what you want to do with your ship. Let's say you want to fight in the front lines. Well, if you want to fight in the front lines, what do you need to be a frontline fighter? Obviously, you're going to need lots of HP, some resistances, and maybe even some regeneration so that you don't die as quickly. So it takes them a long time to kill you. And so, maybe even a little energy regen so that you can use some nice weapons and a cool shield charger, you know. So in that, you would pick like maybe a shield augmenter that has some energy regen in it and a bunch of shield regeneration. And that would be a very nice augmenter for a ship like that. However, you could always just go straight a high resistance augmenter. Like they have different combinations of augmenters. Like this augmenter right here, the Rock Troll augmenter, is the prime example of something that would go on a frontline fighter. It gives shields, energy recharge, and resistance to damage. And, it's got a funny comment that's kind of insulting. And it's a beautiful augmenter, in all honesty. For a Tech 16 aug, it's great. 23% resistance to damage is phenomenal, and that basically means, like, if you had 50% resist, or we'll keep it simple, if you have 10% resistance, now you have 12.3% resistance. Borderline, it increases the resistances by that percentage. Now, as each class has different ways that you want to aug your ships, okay? And that's just normal, they have different gear, they have different fighting styles, and they have different things like that. So now I want to talk about like the different classes and different concepts that you could understand. Like, for example, for my engineer, I wanted mostly shield bank with some resistance. I wanted some high energy bank because that's nice, and I went and I found an energy that came up with a good one. I tried to find the gear for the most part to begin with that did pretty much what I wanted it to do. So, I got a zombie stop that gives me 20,000 HP. I've got this, where is my energy? It's here somewhere. Where are you? I am having a difficult time right now. Oh, there it is. I ran over. Like a gigantic Ion Justice, which gives me 10,000 energy with a bunch of regen. Well, the Zombie Stop has almost no regen at all, so it's not the best shield to think about for that. But, this one has, that's why I didn't get any shield regeneration in my AUG setup, other than, I think the Rock Troll Augmenter gives me a shield. No, it doesn't. Cool. Not even a little bit. Perfect. And, and then this one's got a high energy regen, and I even got overclocked on it. I got lucky when I narrowbounded it, and I got a 10% extra regeneration, which is really nice. So, for an engineer, which his main focus is to essentially, I'm a support, I grab this, I heal people, and through some like various scary magic of some sort, I turn, how much does it do to myself? Okay, so basically I turn 349 damage to myself. I actually reduced that by close to 41% or something like that. I don't know. I have some really good shield transference resistance. Yeah, 41%. So I do 41% less damage to myself with my own shield transference. But yeah, you're clearly seeing that with this amazing beam, I'm sitting here shooting for 832. That's nice. That's because of my augmenters. That's the great thing about augmenters. Augmenters affect your everything. Like whatever stat they are. So they affect this transference power and transference efficiency, which means, one, my beam uses less electricity, and two, it does more damage. It does more healing. So that's cool. 25% transference power and 25% transference efficiency. So with these three, it's a total of 75% more efficient with 75% more damage. And that's a good thing. And the cool thing about augmenters is that's not just the limit. Once you put your augmenter on there, that's not just it. There's actually a skill in this wonderful, wonderful list of skills called augmenter tweaking. Now, I currently only have my augmenter tweaking to level 2. I know I should get it higher. You can get it to a max of level 25, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, level 25. That's 4%. Makes the augmenters 4% better per level. And the really cool thing about it is with engineers specifically, you have another skill called the engineer class. What does engineer class do? I wonder. Oh, it does plus 5% to or plus 0.5% to most stats, minus 0.5% to firing energy, plus 0.5% to augmenter tweaking. So my augmenter tweaking is already, it'll get up to like I think, yeah, 10% better with augmenter tweaking 20, or not augmenter, engineer class 20. And then, station tweaking 10% better at level 20. Slave tweaking 20% better. Neuro tweaking is a little bit better with each level. And, you know, that's awesome, in all honesty. Like, this is a great, class for boosting little things by a little bit each one. And so knowing that, you can take some of this into consideration. I mean, you can go through and you can do all the math and everything that you want to do, and you can figure out, how much of each stat you really want. And the way to go about augmented tweaking that I've always done is I say, pick 5 things that you think your ship's going to need for what you're going to do with it. Take let's say engineer class, for example. We're just going to take a support. That's what this is. So support focus, engineer class. What does the ship need? Well, it already gives itself some nice stats, and it helps itself out. But for the most part, it's going to need shields and some resistances, which is what I've got. Simply because it's slow, and it's not exactly a little ship. I mean, like, it's not a huge ship, but it's not little. But I'm slow. That's the problem, and I'm not very agile at all. In fact, I'm incredibly not agile. About as graceful as an elephant on roller skates. Yep, that's about it. And then, I auged myself to basically be as tanky as I possibly could. I got a really good energy bank so that I can bring myself, so I can fill my energy bank up and be able to deploy my drones and use my different various items that I've got. Because I don't know if you noticed, I almost filled this hotbar up. Sorry guys, I'm a little tired. It's been a long day. So, I got all the augmenters that I needed. I got these general ops prowess augmenters, which makes my drones better, which is always a plus. Makes my transference and healing better, which allows me to keep my drones together longer. Gives me shields, energy, and a little bit of speed, and some hull space. So this basically covers everything that a droner needs for the most part. I mean, just generally, this is what it needs. Thus, the general ops prowess up. Now, there are thousands of different augmenters that you can get. Thousands, and all of them, do something a little different. Some of them are kind of the same, but slightly better versions. So they're all different tech levels and whatnot. And I mean, deciding there is no cookie cutter build that makes you capable of being the best, because although augmenters are incredibly important in how a ship functions, so is the items and the gear. So I mean, I guess I can make a video later on that, on how to gear your ship and whatnot, but I'll leave that one for a different video. So the main thing I wanted to get at was just try and figure out what your ship is capable of, and then figure out what you want your ship to do better. And then, take it even a step further and think about, are you going to be in a squad fighting with other players, or are you going to be solo most of the time, playing by yourself entirely? And once you figure out the answers to those questions, then you can decide upon a better setup for your ship, and you can decide on how you want to do things. So, if you have any questions, feel free to find me in the game. Send me a message. All chat's normally helpful. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes it's completely useless to ask questions in here because people are kind of trolly. But that, you get that when you go on online gaming. But you can always hit, you can hit this help button down here. You can go in the help chat and ask out. You can get on the forums on starsonata.com, and we'll just bring this over here. You can get up here and go to, what is this, the forums, yeah. You can ask things there. You can always also go hit up the the wiki and see what's going on there, because there is a wiki, and it's got some great, like, it's got all the different augmenter stats. It doesn't have every one of them. The Wikipedia for Star Sonata 2 is actually player run, so not everything is going to be in the game, or not everything is going to be in in the wiki, because people might be lazy and not want to put it in there. But that's life. So if you have any questions or need any help, ask around. There's people who will help you out. I can guarantee you that. And if not, if they won't help you out, then I will. So this has been a video, and hopefully this has been hopefully an educational video on the use and like effectiveness of augmenters. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and tell me if I can do anything better. If there is some things that you didn't like, if you think that I left things out, be sure to ask your questions in the comments. And I do read the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. But yeah, until then, I am YipperX5. Stay safe.